Board. All right. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna rip your 4 pieces of tape. Line up the bottom edge of your paper, making sure the T-square is firmly against the side, and tape one of your corners. Notice when I tape my corner, I tape it on like a 45-degree angle. Then I'm going to slide my T-square up, get it out of the way of the bottom of the paper, because now I want to tape the opposite corner. I'm going to come over and I'm going to double check that the top is still straight, which it is. All right, and I'm going to tape my second corner. Once I have 2 corners taped, I tape my third and my 4th corner. Next step, I'm going to measure in and make a 1/2-inch border around each side of my paper. I usually take my T-square, leave it against the side of the board, and put my ruler right against the T-square, and I'll measure in a 1/2 inch from each edge, usually left to right first. Then I take my triangle. I generally use the longer side of the 30-60 triangle. I will put my pencil right on the dot. I will slide my triangle over until it touches the pencil. Make sure the T-square is against the board, the triangle is against the T-square. And I'll draw a vertical line up, just like so. Spin around. And do the same thing on the other side. Alright. Take your ruler, measure down from the top, 1/2 inch, measure up from the bottom, 1/2 inch. Now what I like to do is, I do my title block at the same time. So we know the spacing of the title block is 1/8 inch. We do it 5 times, so I measure up 1/2, and then I mark 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8. Now I'm going to make these lines all pretty dark because I know it's harder to see without the contrast. You guys could start off by making these lightly and darken them up later if you choose to. Now, let me go over some of the tools with you real quick. Obviously, T-square we use to draw left and right lines. There is one other tool I don't even have here right now. Not worry about it. We'll go over it next time. There's like a little bag. It's called a dry erase bag. What you would do is you would take that and you drip the powder on your paper, and it basically makes it so your paper won't smudge. I can go over that next time. All right. After I did my 1/8 inch spacing, I'm going to measure in 3 inches from the left border, and I'm going to do that 3 times. I probably actually drew my lines a little long on the right-hand side. 1, 2, and 3. Always using my triangle to draw my verticals. 1 line up here. And a line here. Now that's my title block. I'm going to come in, I can erase these extra lines off the edge. Now you might ask, Mr. Lean, why don't we go all the way to the edge? Right? It's because when we do a bigger piece of paper, we use the same title block, and it would look funny if we went all the way to the edge. So we just save it the same title block. Erase the little tails that are around the edges of your paper. Notice how when I did this, I left the tape off to the edge so it didn't interfere with the title block. Now, first drawing I'm going to do is very simple. It's an orthographic drawing. It's called the step block. Basically, the way it's set up. All right, it looks something like this, where it's got a notch step for the front view, a top view that looks like this, and a side view that looks something like this. Now, the measurements for it, from here to here, is 2 inches. From here to here is 3 inches. From here to here is 1.5 inches. And from here to here is 1 inch. The spacing between each of your drawings is 1 inch each. And from the border, the corner, you get the border, and then you get the title block. From the title block, you're going to come in 2 1/8, and then come up 1 1/16, and that'll be right to this point here. This is called your start point. So, I take my ruler. I'm going to measure in 2 1/8. I'm going to measure up 1 1/16. Make 2 little dots, very light dots. I'm going to draw 2 very light lines across the paper. 1 across and 1 up. These are my guidelines. Guidelines are light lines we use to set up a drawing that either we darken later or we make lighter later. Excuse me, darken later or we erase later. From this corner, it's going to be the lower left-hand corner of my front view. In my front view, I told you guys before, the measurement for the width is going to be 3 inches. The height is going to be 2 inches. I'm going to draw a very light, long line. And vertically, I'm going to draw a light vertical line. From here, you're going to measure in 1.5 over, 1 inch up, using your T-square and triangle. There's the step shape. Now, without doing any more measurement, other than measuring 1 inch in between,